We're joined now by journalist Cosmo Landesman, who has been married twice and wants to marry again. He's currently looking. And writer Jemma Forte, who says remarrying many times is just embarrassing. Cosmo, let's start with you then. You've been married twice already. Didn't work out for whatever the reason, but you wouldn't rule it
My
out
fault.
again. Your fault?
Yes,
okay.
I'm in between marriages. I still believe in marriage. I'd like to get married again. And I say practice makes perfect.
Do you feel any sort of embarrassment by the fact that you've already had two weddings? Lots of your friends and family members sure came to both those weddings.
Why should I be embarrassed? I had two very wonderful wives that I hope to have more wonderful wives in the future.
Do you think it could be off-putting to a future wife to know that you have promised till death do us part to two previous women? Does it make you seem as if you're not serious?
No, because you are serious when you enter a marriage. I mean, the idea that we can cap marriage, you can cap a local council, but you can't cap the human heart. People want to get married for very good reasons. No one just does it as a kind of a laugh. You do it, and you hope that you go into it in good faith and hope this time I found the person.
But don't you think, yeah, so 3 times is completely reasonable. So the first time is happenstance, second is coincidence if it doesn't work out. The third, a pattern is starting to emerge, and maybe you're just not very good at it. And back in the day, women got married because way back in the day, we were essentially didn't have any status unless we were married. We were given away. All of those reasons don't exist anymore. So why do we get married now? Well, it'll be love, it'll be for security because you want to raise a family, all of these different reasons, but it's still a contract.
But don't you think it's people have different kind of, you know, the learning curve of love is different for different people. Some people get it the first time, and good luck to them. Others of us, you know, life happens, life is messy, things don't work out. They deserve another chance to have it. I know someone who's been married 5 times, and the last marriage, incredibly happy. They found it. It just took them longer than other people.
That is wonderful.
Why do we want to stop them?
Well, I believe that you can be in love multiple times, have loads of partners, do what you like, but that serious promise, that contract, I think it starts to make a bit of a mockery of it. You don't have to do it. And I also think we've all had a relationship where we think we're in love for maybe 6 months to a year, and then 2 years down the line, you can't stand them. So maybe give it a bit more time.
Well, you could use that argument. You could say, well, never have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, because the last one you claimed that you really love and were serious about and possibly thinking about marriage, but look what happened
I'm an eternal optimist and I am a romantic.
Lots of people get in touch. Andrew says marriage is something you have to work on, not leave after your first row. I've been married for 24 years this year. And
Abby says, I'm wife number 5 for my husband. The first 4 were trial runs, and I finally found the number 1, and that's what we have to do. So you can't predict how people are going to mature, how people are going to develop.
But equally...
Why should you say after number 4,
but equally,
that's
Kate,
it?
The first time, you're supposed to do it for real.
For real, I got divorced. I've had a couple of relationships since. And you know, never say never. I might get married again one day. I don't want to rule it out completely, but it would be a massive, massive thing for me because the first time I essentially broke my promises. You know, we didn't end up till death do us part. And that, for me, the upheaval of divorce was painful, it was huge, there was a ripple effect, it's seismic. I've got 2 children as well, and I think that for them, you know, we've worked at it, we've got a good, successful divorce now, if you like, we co-parent, it's all fine. But that took a while. Like marriage, it's hard work. You have to put the effort in. And I just think...
Cosmo, there's a financial implication as well, isn't there, once you get married more, because there's legal proceedings, filling up the courts, causing all sorts of logistical problems as well, that end up sort of...
There are consequences.
Consequences that aren't just romantic consequences.
That's true. That's the reality. That's the reality of marriage. And that's an argument why you shouldn't just rush into a marriage. You think about it and you do your best. And if it falls apart, well, you have to deal with those consequences. That's all you can do.
So maybe after 3 times, you just go, do you know what, let's just be together.
Surely that's
see how
got to be personal choice, hasn't it?
Yeah,
You can't say to somebody, because everybody develops differently, every loving relationship is different. So you can't say to somebody, OK, you should have been more grown up at 20 or 30 or 40. Now, however old you are and you're going for your 4th, 5th or 6th marriage, tough.
But don't you think that failure is something that we all do? We all make mistakes, but you learn from it. And then maybe you just take your time a little bit more going forward. And I just personally...
But how do you know they don't take their time?
Well,
because 12 days.
So
Pamela
12 days.
Pamela Anderson's most recent marriage, which has started this debate, lasted 12 days.
Hold on, she wasn't married. She was about to get married.
Well, they'd had the ceremony. They had the ceremony in Malibu, and it was 12 days later, and they were blissfully in love. Now, we don't know the details of that, obviously, but 12 days, and that is someone that is in a situation that's kind of jumping in and going, I can do this. Actually, no, I've changed my mind.
It is
But
a
I
bit
think
embarrassing.
I think it's too easy to blame celebrities and their marriages. And we all say, oh, they're making a mockery of marriage. No, it's we make a mockery of marriage in the way we conduct ourselves to our husbands and wives. And God knows I've made lots of mistakes and whatever.
But you've only been
It's
married
down to everyone.
twice.
I know.
And you know, you're not like a spring chicken.
No,
right?
I'm not quite a
so
spring
you might
chicken.
well have one more in you.
And
I'm
I
just
hope I'll
saying,
be better. I hope I'll be better at it.
If I met a man like yourself, and you know, we went on a date, whatever, I said, well, what's your relationship history? And you said, I've been married 6 times. I'd run for the hills. I would.
I'm very sorry to hear that, because we're not going to get married now.
But if they said I've been in love, 6 times, or I've had 18 meaningful relationships, but I got married once, that would.
I would think that person's more experienced in
you
love.
would see that as a sign that they hadn't taken marriage seriously.
I would question why they'd done it and whether they'd really understood what that commitment meant. I don't think marriage is all about just the day and the fluffiness. You can be in love and have all of that romance without getting married. Married is actually 10 years later when you're picking someone's pants up or you're going through something difficult and you stay together for better, for worse, and you work things
Jemma,
out.
that's fine, but you don't have to get married. If you don't want to get married, just stay in love.
Exactly, that's my argument.
But some people like to be married.
Why?
Some people like that commitment. They like having a husband. They like having a wife. That's fine.
And well, then stay with them.
No, because it's a different structure when you're married.
It might be that the person you meet has never been married before and they feel that they would like to be married.
Well, that's different because they haven't been married before.
I know, but the other person might have been.
Yeah, one of them's been married
See?
3 or 4
And
times.
they'll have a greater witness,
It
perhaps.
might be important to the other person.
Yeah, potentially, but you can work these things out. So I think so.
The implication of what you're saying there, Jemma, is that if you met someone who'd been married 3 or 4, 5 times, let's say,
At my age, I'm like
you would be less
mid-40s.
inclined,
I
even
would
if you hadn't
question
been married before.
Yeah,
you'd be-
even more so.
You'd be less inclined to say.
Even more so. I'd want to be the really
He's the one.
special. I'd want to feel on my wedding day that it was so, like, that commitment was so huge.
Planning to marry a virgin?
No, of course not. And I'm definitely not a virgin. Don't worry about that. But
Good
I
news,
just
that's
think...
good news. Was anybody
That's a
worried?
relief.
Well, everything escalates on
Alex,
this
were you
show,
worried?
doesn't it?
I wasn't worried.
Alex wasn't.